Hi everybody, so today I want to do a standing review of the Performance Shooting Browning Bar Carbine. It's a special run that the owner of Performance Shooting, Mike McDonald, has built for his shop up in Constable, New York. And he usually gets runs of about 200 of these rifles, up to 400 annually. I just want to say right before we begin that while supplies last, if you use the code BWB, Big Woods Bucks, BWB, you can get $50 off the purchase of this rifle. It's a standard Browning Bar Mark III with the aluminum receiver, but it's got a 18-inch fluted barrel. Comes with the synthetic stock, very light with the Ovix camo pattern, one of Browning's sort of traditional patterns. It's a gas-operated .308 Winchester. He has sometimes the runs are done in .30-06 as well in the past. This one I have taken the recoil pad off. It usually comes with a very nice Inflex recoil pad by Browning. I build a butt plate. Right now it's got some screws that are sort of hanging out there. I got to get flatter screws for it. But I built that because I want my length of pull to be 13.5 inches, which is what I do. Normally with the pad it's about 14 and a quarter. It's got a little bit of a long length of pull. So you may have to adjust that. You can get different lengths, thicknesses of recoil pad though, as well from Browning. And they're very easy to work with in their parts department. This gun also has the same warranties. It's completely built by Browning in Portugal. So it has the same warranties as any other Browning that's built. I checked beforehand. Obviously the action is open. There's nothing in it. This gun comes with a very unique type of detachable magazine. I'm not going to pull it off because from this angle it would be awkward to try and do so. But it sits on this hinged floor plate, but it's tight in there and keeps that magazine from rocking, rolling, or vibrating badly. Now, if anybody knows anything about semi-autos, they have quite a violent action internally. If you look at a semi-auto in slow motion, you can see there's a lot of things happening. And if you've ever owned a Remington 740, 742, or 7400, or the newer 750s, they don't make them anymore, but if you own one of them, you may have known them as the Jam-O-Matic, or the Jam-O-Lottie, as some people like to call them. Not all of them are bad. If you have one that works, they usually work for a lifetime, but if you have a bad one, they'll never work. And I tend to think, I ran an experiment. I've owned quite a few of the Remington semi-autos. I've never had one work well. That's the truth. I've had a lot of bad luck with them. So I tested something. I took several of them and I put different magazines in them, and I found that if you had the right combination of magazine, cleanliness, you could get one to work. And but ultimately, most of the variability came from the magazine. And if you know the history of the Browning Bar, you know that they originally had a detachable magazine that was very similar to the Remington. But what they found is the violence of the action caused vibrations that caused malfunctions, both in ejection and in feeding problems. So that's why the Browning Bar comes hooked onto a floor plate and keeps the magazine solid. And it's as solid as you know, a top-loading bolt action, for example. It really is tight in there. I've never had an ejection or a feeding problem with a Browning Bar. Not saying it doesn't happen. I know guys that have had problems, but I've never had it. So for me, the comparison between the brands of the most popular semi-autos, both Remingtons and Bars, these tend to do better. This gun is 6 pounds, 9 ounces. Without shells, without 4 shells. It has a capacity of 4 .308 Winchester shells and 1 in the chamber, so you can run as many as 5. The thing that makes it different is the barrel, like I said, is cut to 18 inches. They usually run a 22-inch barrel on their on their semi-autos. The 18-inch barrel doesn't give away a lot of feet per second ballistics on a 308 Winchester cartridge. 308s are a very efficient cartridge, so you get quite a bit of the maximum velocity, even out of an 18-inch barrel. When you get down to 16 inches and lower, that's when you really lose it. But unlike a 30-06, a 308 tends to lose less velocity for each inch of barrel that you cut off. So you get quite a bit of velocity out of this short barrel. What else? It has a reversible crossbolt safety here, and that's really convenient. You pop these two pins out. There's a little roll pin that you got to pop out, a little spring you got to work with, kind of like very similar to a 7600 or 870 trigger assembly on a Remington. The only difference here is you don't have to buy an aftermarket left-hand safety. You just spin it around and put it in. Both my sons are southpaws, and I've had to do this job. It takes me about 10 minutes to do. Very convenient. What else? In my case, I fill my stock with a little bit of dry foam so you get rid of the paddle feel or noise, and without adding weight. Dry styrofoam. I just put it in there and then close up the stock. What else? It has a release here. That's how it loads. And on the last shot, when you've shot the last shot, it'll stay open, and then you know that you're empty. This one has a Skinner. This is mine. So I have a Skinner 1x4 scope on it. The Skinner is phenomenal. Really good glass. This one in particular is a duplex reticle with a 1 MOA red dot or green dot. You get to choose the brightness and the color. And Andy worked really hard on these scopes. Took him a long time to design it, work with the manufacturer, and get it right, and he got it right. I hunted with this fall. I had one on a different bar, like this one of the special runs, that went tumbling down a granite face up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Smashed up, the whole top was smashed up. I took it out, I fired 3 shots into a knot, into a tree, never lost its zero, and didn't fog up. Nothing happened to it. So they can take a beating. And that was in some blizzard-like conditions for 5 days straight. So very wet conditions. No fogging, no issues. In tally rings, my favorite, very light. So with the scope, the gun is, like I said, 6 pounds, 9, 10 ounces, empty. And with the scope and rings, it is just below 7.5 pounds. And for a semi-auto, that is light. With a scope that is a variable powered scope. This scope is really unique because it's a 1-inch tube, but it also has a 99-foot field of view on 1 power. It's a true 1 power. So it's like a red dot on 1 power, which is really nice in the big woods. It comes with shims. You can shim the stock, interestingly enough, take the stock off, and it has a variety of shim packs that it comes with, and you can deal with cast and pitch and all kinds of things. With a scope, I leave mine straight up. On an iron-sighted version, I use what is called the number 3, and it pitches the stock down a bit. Feels more like my lever actions. Many of you know that I'm a lever action fan. I really like Marlins, but when it comes to tracking, when I get serious and I'm having one of those serious days, these are the guns I use because it's like cheating, really. It's got the gold trigger. Oh, by the way, the trigger is 3.5 pounds. Really good trigger. Really phenomenal trigger. But when I get serious, this is the gun I use because it's like cheating. When I see the deer, I pull it up. If you have the right scope rings, the right height, you use the shims, you can customize this entire rifle to exactly how you want it. And for me, I can point and shoot, and I'm on the deer, running, standing, doesn't matter. It's really remarkable. The only other gun I can do that with is a Marlin. Maybe some other lever actions, but they fit me the best. Pistol grip Marlin and this. And they're very similar in their measurements. Yeah, so I don't know what inch twist. I should have looked that up, the barrel. But I can tell you that I will be doing a shooting video of this later on. You'll see it a little further down the line. and we'll do some accuracy testing. The ones I've had are 1 to 1.5 inch at 100-yard guns with a scope, a 4-power scope, on a rest, which is plenty good out to 300 yards on any game. 308, I'll take anything in North America. Probably wouldn't use it for the big bears, but I might in a pinch with the right bullet. Yeah, so what else? It has, it comes with these sort of sling swivels, I guess they are, for both the front here, and you can see they're these little holes, and they're like a hydraulic fitting, and they just snap in, and you pinch them, and they pop out, and they hold really well, which is really neat. So it comes with those as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. So I guess the point, oh, and this is for a tripod. So if I was to say anything about this gun, would I recommend it? Obviously I would. You get a $50 discount if you use the code BWB. If you're seeing this video after the supply is gone, obviously that offer is off the table. I think at this point, he has 25 of them left, somewhere in that range. They will go quick, especially after this video goes up. So I would get yours. I would get yours and get your discount, and see you in the tracking woods with your performance shooting Browning Bar carbine custom run rifle. All right, everybody, take care.